I want to thank all of you so much for attending your Gaines Chamber of Commerce quarterly luncheon. I see a lot of familiar faces, but some brand new ones. I'm excited to meet everyone, and I'm so excited that you're here with us today. As I hope many of you know, my name is Barb Nauta, and I am honored and so blessed to be the executive director to your Gaines Chamber of Commerce. We've got a lot of exciting information to share with each of you today. Before we begin, as always, I'd like to open with prayer over our event and our meal. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we come before you now to give you thanks for all that you have given to us. We thank you that your eyes watch over all of us and the entire world. We thank you and feel blessed for the opportunity to gather here today. Thank you, dear God, for those who are here to share your blessings and the generosity of our hosts and sponsors that make this event possible. We pray that everyone here will be filled with your peace, with your presence, and with your hope. And may we continue to find joy in the simple pleasures and treasure each and every opportunity that you provide for us to gather with our family, with our friends, and with our business partners. We pray for comfort for all who are going through difficult times. We continue to ask for your healing hand to be upon all who are ill. We pray for provision for all who are in need. We pray for protection for all who are in harm's way. Please bless all of us and use us so that we can be a true blessing to others. And may the days ahead bring everyone here so many beautiful blessings and fulfilled dreams that bring all of us so much closer to you. Please bless this meal and this event that we are able to share together. We thank you for our Savior Jesus, in whose name we ask all of these things. Amen. All right, so let's get started. On your table, you have a flyer that looks like this. This is going to be some of the information that I'm going to share with you today about the Gaines Chamber of Commerce. It's just another reminder about who we are. As you know, the Gaines Chamber of Commerce is dedicated to fostering growth and development for your chamber businesses to enrich your community. We are member-focused. We continue to be solution-focused, working with integrity to positively impact each and every one of you, our Gaines Chamber businesses, and your community families. We want to thank all of our awesome 2023 Gaines Chamber board members for their amazing commitment to our business community. Amber Lenhart, Haltz Jepson Physical Therapy. Brad and Rena Sperlin, Chick-fil-A South. Brent Springblood, Farm Bureau Insurance. Heidi Vanderkolk, Heidi Christine Salon and Spa. Jay Maherber, Meyer Grand Rapids Market Director. Kevin Schaff, Schaff Law. Lori Lemke, Gaines Charter Township Treasurer. Matt Hoffman, Michigan First Credit Union. Matt Van Door, Matrix Printing and Mailing. Scott Yaki, Hydros. And we also want to make sure to thank the Kent County Sheriff Department and the Cutlerville and Dutton Fire Department for their continued community service. We also want to introduce to you our brand new Gaines Charter Township Manager, Rod Weersing. All right, let's give everyone a round of applause. Thank you so much for everything that you do. Please take some time to meet all of these wonderful men and women today. Some of you already know this slide. It's my fun slide. When I say who is Gaines, I ask everyone to holler out, "We are Gaines," because all of you are. All right, ready? As loud as you can. BCTV is back there. Who is Gaines?
We are.
Yes, I love that slide. I know I have so much fun with it. Just want you guys to know, everyone here is Gaines, each and every chamber business. And I've stated so many times before that the Gaines Chamber of Commerce is so excited to play such an integral part in the lives of your community and your neighborhood businesses. Each and every Gaines Chamber member is considered our family. And I want to continue, as always, to make sure to take care of our family members. We want to bring awareness to all of your businesses. We want to build those long-lasting relationships. We want community involvement, collaboration. We know they're so crucial and essential to strengthening and building your healthy community. I say this before, working together, we can and we will create economic success and positively impact your Gaines Chamber community businesses and your families. As Helen Keller stated, I think it's on your postcard, alone we can do so little, but together we can do just so much, building that neighborhood. All right, just want to touch base on some of the benefits of joining our chamber. We've got our chamber website that links all of our chamber member businesses to the community, connects you to business contacts, referrals, job postings, so much more. We've got our chamber directory that I'm still distributing from 2022. We've got our monthly connector newsletter. I send this out at the end of every month, and it has your new and existing chamber members. We've got upcoming events, job postings, and a lot of the information from the Gaines Township office. We've got events that we're going to talk about as well in the next slide, but it's a lot of great networking opportunities. Our Gaines Chamber committees, we have an amazing networking group. We've got our chamber board member, Brent Springblut from Farm Bureau Insurance, as the leader of this group. And we also have a Gaines Chamber ambassador group that's led by Jen Hocht from Great Lakes Insurance and Kinsey Financial. As we continue to move forward into 2023 in just working together, creating those strategies for promoting your awesome businesses, we would love for you to join either the networking group or the ambassador committee. We're also looking for 2 or more other businesses. We're looking to revise our membership opportunities. So I may be calling you or tapping you on the shoulder and asking you to join us. All you need to do if you're interested in any of these, please just email me, barb@gaineschamber.org, and I'll get right with you. Again, business members are our family. Please also, I ask you guys to take time to share the Gaines Chamber of information with your neighboring businesses. We know that the more businesses we add to your Gaines Chamber business family, the more success you will have to increase your own business growth and your business network. Just point them to www.gaineschamber.org, the website, and there's a new application out there, a new member application. I say this a lot, but I know that your Gaines Chamber, and I call it yours, I'm up here only for you guys, can only be as good as what all of us collectively working together put into it. You are our number one priority. I thought I'd share with you, I'm going to recap on 2022. We talked about some of the fun things that we did last year at our December luncheon, but we had a busy year in 2022. We had increased our social media presence. We had offered 23 fun networking events. We added 16 new chamber members. We created our new business directory, and then we were instrumental in collaborating with the Gaines and Byron Township with our Division Corridor Beautification Project. We were able to distribute 6 scholarships in the community last year and distributed 4 business awards. So here's what's going on this year so far. I know we've got more to share with you. We already have 4 brand new chamber members, which is awesome to start the year out. We're just continuing to grow. We have some possible new prospects here at the luncheon today. Please, please, please introduce yourself to them. We are continuing to market your businesses by still distributing some of those directories. We always have BCTV in the back, wave there, that records our quarterly luncheons. We're still a part of the Division Corridor Beautification Project. This year, we're going to be presenting 7 community student scholarships, which is amazing. A couple of them, I think, are $1,000 each. We've got 3 business awards that we'll also be awarding, and that's at our next June 13 quarterly luncheon. We're continuing to improve upon our social media presence, and we're offering 26 total networking in-person Gaines Chamber opportunities, and that's all to help each one of your businesses successfully thrive. We will always continue to work diligently to honor your requests, to provide the much needed opportunities to meet new businesses and share your business story with everyone, to bring that successful business relationship to each of you. So let's talk about some of the events we've got going on this year. I ask that you place these dates on your calendar. We've got registration links also out there already for most of them. Make sure to register today. We are offering, this year also, we are offering tours for some of our business partners. I'm going to be sending out some of the details. If you would like to join us, just let me know. Or if you would like to have a tour at your place of business, please just email me and let me know. I will send that information out to everyone. I think the more people that know about what you do at your business, the better off everyone here is going to be in building those relationships. We also need to share an exciting news. Our amazing Dahan tile and floor covering business family member, I don't know, is Dahan here? There they are in the back there. They're celebrating 60 years of business this year. That's so amazing. Please stop by and congratulate them for their years of service, and thank you for everything you do for this community. We really appreciate you. A couple of bullet points on the events. We talked about the next quarterly luncheon, June 13th. That will be our award ceremony. Our golf outing is June 26th at Stonewater Country Club. Please make sure to sign up for that. I know the spots are going very quickly. We always have on the third Tuesday of every month at Chick-fil-A South at 11:30, lunch. You guys come in, enjoy lunch, enjoy your networking for a coffee connection, we're calling it. So all you do is stop in. There's no registration at all. Just stop in when you can. We'd love to have you there. We added one more fun event. It's called Movie in the Park. We're going to be working with the Gaines Township and offering our chamber businesses the opportunity to have a table at this event to promote your business. I think we've got spaces for about 17 tables. With all of the proceeds for this event, it's going to go to Streams GR Food Center and our Dutton, the Community Basket Food Center, to help community families. So we're going to ask you guys to bring in food products. We know how expensive food is these days, but helping the community, it's crucial right now. This is going to happen probably early August, and I'll get that date out to you guys. Our Connected Chamber events, we had the most amazing first event, February 2nd, 108 business women that I hosted at this event, and it was phenomenal. Don't forget to sign up for these. We have 7 or 8 different Chamber of Commerces that I work with and the directors, and it's so much fun. It's a great networking event. The other, we now have a date, July 18th, and that's the Gun Lake Casino After Hours event. So put that on your calendar as well.
You may have heard that the American Legion helps honor our fallen heroes.
Or that the American Legion helped write the GI Bill, enabling veterans to get a college education.
And yeah, you've heard us tell a good story or two.
But did you know that the American Legion does so much more for our veterans?
From advocacy on Capitol Hill to serving others in our communities, the American Legion continues its tradition of strengthening America through service.
Learn more about supporting veterans in your community by visiting legion.org.
We worked our whole lives to save, just to spend it on time. With these two, filling buckets of memories. This is what makes life, life. Yet how much of life are we willing to miss out on? Because even mild hearing loss doubles our risk of dementia. Yes, dementia. Good hearing health is essential to staying engaged and doing what we love. Hear well and stay vital. Get a hearing health check every year.
Morning, everybody. First and foremost, want to thank the Kentwood Community Church. They were very gracious in hosting us here, and they let us come every quarter, so if we can give them a quick round of applause. And then next, person who needs all the applause or deserves all the applause but doesn't get it is Barb Nada. I will tell you that Barb is the single reason why Hydros joined the chamber, and then that was only exacerbated by all of the phenomenal members. So if you are a guest today and you're thinking about joining the chamber, I cannot stress enough how much of a positive investment it is. The financial piece is almost immaterial, especially for those in the financial world, but the relationships and the experience that you'll get is phenomenal. And it's one of those situations where you get out of it what you put in. So if you're a member and you show up and you continue to invest your time and give back, it will come back tenfold. So just wanted to give a quick plug for the chamber, as well as thank you guys for coming out, and thank Barb as well as the church. Next, little background on me. After graduating business school, I started looking introspectively, and I've always been a part of a family of entrepreneurs, and so became fascinated with all different kinds of businesses. Working in private equity, we got to work in a bunch of different industries, we got to look at a bunch of different businesses, and I realized that one of the biggest problems in the small business space is the small business failure rate. And so just really quickly, I want to go through some quick statistics. Hopefully you don't fall asleep. The SBA, or the Small Business Administration, classifies a small business as a business with 1,500 or less employees, does less than $40 million a year in revenue. Small businesses make up 99.9% of all the businesses here in the US, as well as the failure rates. So in year one, 21.4% of all small businesses fail. Year two, we're looking at 31.6. Year three, 38.4. Year four, 44%. By year five, 48.9% of all small businesses fail. And then by year 10, over 65%. And so the organizations in here that talked about celebrating 40, 50 years, 60 years, congratulations, because you guys beat the odds and you're part of a very small group of businesses that have. That number is unacceptable. So much of our country's backbone is based on small businesses, and it rests on their shoulders. In fact, another fun statistic is in the last 25 years, 12.9 million people, or 12.9 million jobs were created by small businesses. That's crazy. And so the fact that we have such a high failure rate of the backbone of our country is crazy, especially considering that for the GDP, for the US, the gross domestic product, or basically, the financial KPI, or key performance indicator, if you will, is that small businesses make up just under 50% of the GDP for our country. So this is important. And after digging through why small businesses fail, there's a lot of reasons, and there's a lot of common denominators. Anywhere from is a solopreneur. The majority of small businesses are actually solopreneurs or one-member organizations. And they get burned out because it's a more than a 60-hour-a-week job. It's an 80-hour-a-week job. If anybody's a small business owner in here, you get it. Looking at cash flow management, lack of vision or a business plan, failure to join the digital revolution here in the last 20 years, if you will, when the internet and technology has really spiked, as well as not understanding and communicating your value prop. If you Google why small businesses fail, you'll see all of these reasons on there. But the one common denominator that I researched and was present is poor marketing. And so today, what I want to do is, the goal of the chamber is to give back. How can we make ourselves more relevant to the members, and how can we help empower you so that you can continue to give back to the community? And so after starting Hydros in 2019, it's a water cooler company. That's not flashy, sexy, or exciting. And so I knew when we got started, we had to make our marketing better than our competitors and better than everybody else. Anecdotally, I have two attorneys as parents. And I never knew what disappointment on someone's face looked like until I told them that I wanted to sell water coolers for the rest of my life. So because of that, we have been exceptionally intentional about our marketing. We want to look, act, and feel different than anybody else in our industry. It also helps that we do things differently in our industry, but because of that, there's a lot of time that went into how do we make ourselves really, really applicable, and how do we get people interested in a product that is traditionally not sexy or exciting. One of the reasons why, or some of the reasons why a lot of small businesses have bad marketing is because complacency. This is the way we've always done it. You know, we have our flyers, we have our website that we did back in '04, and it works. We don't need to change anything, as well as it's expensive. To have a beautiful website historically is very, very expensive, or to have the right marketing materials. The things that you need to make yourself look bigger than you are and to compete with the companies that have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, or tens of millions of dollars of a marketing budget a year, it's hard to do. And not only that, it's timely. Good design takes time, and you got to have an eye for it. And then on top of that, a lack of sound marketing fundamentals. What are sound marketing fundamentals? Good marketing, and you can see this by looking at all the other companies, the big companies that have been successful. Apple, for example. You could write a book or an entire library on case studies around Apple and how they took something that was a brand new product that wasn't sexy, wasn't applicable to people at the time, and now that company has single-handedly changed the world. And the only reason for that is not only do they make great stuff, but they also have some of the best marketing. They got people excited about something that's not traditionally sexy. A lot of companies, especially small companies, try to put their entire value proposition into their marketing. You hit them with all of the text and you want to give them the entire sales pitch so that you don't have to, because selling is hard. And not only that, it makes sense. You know, we have all this information. There's so many ways we can help. We got to tell them because we have 1.7 seconds to get the attention of the person we're trying to talk to. And then a lot of people use their marketing as a direct way of selling. So rather than trying to get people interested in their product or their service or trying to get people interested in their brand, they just use it to sell. And they create flyers or any kind of sales asset or marketing asset that's pushing for the sale. You know, free stuff, only competing on price. So there's a lot of things that go into why marketing is hard and why a lot of small businesses haven't done what they need to do. When in all reality, marketing is your best salesperson because it gets people invested at an emotional level in your brand and what you're trying to do. And that's where people make that decision. Rarely, and I'm sure most of the people, especially if you're in sales in any degree, rarely do customers make the logical choice, right? How many times have you given them all the facts and they say, nope, I'm still not interested. And you're left there going, what the heck is going on? Any logical person would pick this. And so with marketing and having it be historically expensive, big time commitment, and it's also hard to quantify the ROI. You dump in a bunch of money into a marketing budget. Maybe there's some Google ads, which is the closest thing that you have to any kind of quantitative ROI. It's hard to justify it, but I think you'll find that most big businesses are successful because they tell their story the best. And if you can get people invested in it, that's where I think that gap for small businesses can start to be closed. So, at a high level, going back to college or high school, what is marketing? And for us, there's a bunch of different definitions. There's a lot of subgroups of the definitions of marketing, whether it's market research or whatever the case may be. At its core, our belief is marketing is the ability to quickly and effectively build brand value and awareness while creating interest or excitement around a product or service. That's it. Marketing should be used to start the conversation, not to close the deal. And I think a lot of people get that screwed up because it's easy to try and close that deal with the marketing and they just, they move on. So, for the small business owner, what is the sweet spot of marketing? You have a small budget, maybe even no budget, but you want to have a big impact or you want to be able to take a big bite out of the market. That's really tough. How do you compete with a lot of companies that have these massive budgets or have the knowledge that you don't have? And what I want to do today is I want to try and help everyone close that gap. I want to provide a little value. We've been able to, at Hydros, be very successful, not trying to pat ourselves on the back, but because we look bigger than we are, we've had conversations at tables that we probably shouldn't have had the right to sit at. And that's what marketing does for you. I'm not saying you need to lie. I don't want anybody to lie. I don't advocate for that. But the biggest thing is when you sit down at a deal or when you sit down at a table, you got to look like you've been there before. And a big part of that is having your stuff look good and your marketing be cohesive. So, because I like throwing logos on everything, we came up with what we call the minnow shark methodology. And that is basically having a small budget with a small team and being able to take a big bite out of our market share. And we've been able to capture market share left and right. So much so that we've now we're setting up a second office in Ohio. That's not to brag, not to pat ourselves on the back, but after being founded in May of 2019, getting into our 4th year, most small businesses, that second location is tough to accomplish. And I'm not saying that we're perfect, and there's a lot of back-end headaches that we're working through and a lot of growing pains. But a big part of that is that we've been able to have conversations with giant hospitals and group purchasing organizations that otherwise we probably wouldn't have had the opportunity to talk to simply because we look the way that we do. And so what goes into really good marketing? In keeping with the idea that you want to have it start the conversation, you got to keep it simple. You have a moment's notice to get someone's attention. If you ever look at a billboard driving down the road and you see a lot of text, immediately, subconsciously or consciously, you tune it out. No one has time to read that. And chances are, some people, although they shouldn't be, are probably looking at their phone anyways, right? But if you look at any other kind of marketing, the stuff that's got a lot of text, or if you have epilepsy, would send you into an epileptic event, it's not going to get anybody's attention. It has to be consistent. Your branding has to remain consistent across all of the different channels. Print media, digital media, you name it. It needs to be familiar so that they understand that it's all the same thing. And so what does that mean? That is having your logo with only a specific set of colors. And typically a good logo has 2 colors. Anything more than that, and it starts to get a little too busy. Uniform colors. So there's different types of Pantones and computer safe codes called hex codes. That's more technical than I want to get into, but making sure your colors are uniform across the entire marketing spectrum. And also making sure that your style and your messaging is all consistent. You want to have the same approach. Now you can vary that between campaigns and vary that between different things you're doing or different product lines or different subsects of your business, but it's got to stay consistent or else people are going to get confused. And if they're confused and it's not easy, they're not going to want to work with you. Lastly, it's got to be relevant. And so a big part of it is being able to look at your customer, put them in your shoes, put you in their shoes, and how can you solve their problem? I think too many small businesses try to sell on features and not the benefits. I think ultimately what we try and sell is this is what your end state is going to look like. This is how we're going to solve your problem. So for example, in hospitals, we tell them that we're going to be and our marketing reflects it, we're going to be able to protect against nosocomial infections. That's a big mouthful of a word. It basically means really nasty staph and MRSA infections. And we're able to do that through the antimicrobial surfaces on our coolers. We don't want to say antimicrobial surfaces because it's a feature and it gets lost. But if we start putting ourselves in their shoes and the problem that they have and the problem that the hospitals and healthcare has is they have to deal with infection control. So we start talking about how we're going to handle their infection control directly. Just an example. So, in building into this, keep it simple. Less is more. If you can, try and show what you're trying to say as opposed to saying it. So whether that's either through your text or your email or whatever, a big part of it is if you can visually display what it is you're trying to convey through an icon. So for example, if you look at our banners, and I don't mean to keep talking about Hydros, but it's relevant and it's right there, and I just happen to be glancing over that way. Rather than having a giant paragraph on each of those banner stands that talks about the value propositions we offer, we visually show people. And a lot of times, I think the stigma is that those kinds of icons are very expensive. I'm going to tell you today some of the tips and tricks that we use that it makes it very, very applicable and makes it very easy for somebody to adopt. It also has to be easy to consume. So if you're making a video, for example, 60 to 90 seconds, no one wants to sit there and watch a 5-minute explainer video on the intricacies. I'm going to pick on my buddy Parker, the intricacies of how he goes through and cuts all of his lines. It's one of the things that he does very well, and one of the reasons why all of his clients really love working with him, but getting to that level of detail is for a conversation later on. And that basically builds into use your marketing to tickle the conversation, get it started. Be relevant enough so that they get interested, but not give them enough information so that they can subconsciously or consciously make the purchasing decision without you even talking to them. If they unqualify themselves before you even have a chance to talk to them, you just missed out on a sale, and there's a good chance that you'll be able to help them. Consistent, like I mentioned earlier, logos, colors, fonts, icons. A big part of that is small businesses should have a brand guide. What that basically means is it is the foundation, if you will, for your brand. What are your colors, making sure that everything is uniform, and then if you ever decide to work with a third party, you can send that to them to make sure that anything that they create is the same across your brand. And I'm going to show you guys how you can get one of those for under $50, which historically has cost thousands of dollars. Style, like I said, you want to make sure that everything feels the same. Everything has to be familiar. Even if there's different things that you're covering, got to make sure that when they look at your brand, they immediately think of X, Y, and Z. And then lastly, the messaging, which somewhat falls into the style, make sure that your messaging stays consistent. Use the same verbiage. Use the same text across all your different print materials. If you look at all of our banner stands, rack cards, you name it, even across our website, everything stays the same because they have to have that subconscious association. It's going to take somebody anywhere between 4 to 7 touches before they're actually willing to talk to you. And if they're not familiar with you, they're not going to work with you. Relevant, essentially what I was talking about earlier, recognize and address the needs and the problem, and then sell the solution. One of the best things that I ever learned, there's a company called StoryBrand. Now, they're a little bit more expensive, but their philosophy is that you are taking the customer on a journey, and you are going to be able to provide them the tools that they need in order to solve their own problem. No one likes to be told what to do. They'd much rather figure it out themselves, and there's a lot of people that think that they can figure it out themselves. And it's your job to help usher them along, even if it is you telling them what the solution is. Commoditization, the biggest thing is to fight commoditization is just selling features and price. Anybody can put up a table and start comparing one thing to the next, and then all of a sudden they look at the bottom, and if the value's not there, they're going to pass because the only thing that they're familiar with is price and what their bottom line is going to be. And so if we can fight that with the value prop, and a big part of that value prop is diving into the value that your brand brings and the brand recognition that you have with that. And then not only that, be bold and exciting. Do things a little differently. A lot of the most successful startups live a little bit on the edge. They'll do things that is somewhat contradictory to what traditional business would be, but that's okay. If you can get the customer's attention, I mean, there is no such thing as bad press. Now, there's of course some bad press if it's going to have some legal ramifications. But for the most part, get people excited around it. Even if you do something completely off the wall and they start talking to their friends about it, it's a conversation that normally wouldn't have been had about your business. And then all of a sudden you have sales agents that you didn't even know were there, and you don't have to pay them a commission, which is kind of the best case scenario, right? All this making sense so far? I'm kind of flying through it. I only see 2 or 3 people nodding off. Is this relevant? You guys like it so far? Okay. So now we're going to get into, I think, what will help the most. And there's a couple different partners and approaches and strategies that we use that have helped us with our marketing and helped us basically have that big company budget and take that big company bite without having to spend big company money. One of the number one things is use freelancers. If you haven't heard of it, there's a couple that are big name freelancers where they basically pool people from across the globe that can help create digital content for you. Anything from icons, which icons are incredibly useful for being able to tell the value proposition of your brand. They can help you design email blasts so that you're not just pumping it through with a bunch of text. They can help design any kind of infographic that you use for your sales materials or your marketing materials or even your website. So Fiverr is a great resource. For example, the icons that we use, we paid $5 an icon. Super, super affordable, and the value that it's brought has been tenfold just from the standpoint of we've been able to tell people what we do or show them what we do without telling them. If anybody wants, full disclosure, I have a referral code for Fiverr. You get, I think it's like $10 off your first order. We get $10 credit towards the next project that we have. But as a small business owner, Fiverr has been one of the top softwares that have helped us in ways that normally would have cost us a lot of money. And there's other companies like Upwork and Deer Designer and all that, but Fiverr for the most part, you plug in what you're looking for and it spits out freelancers that have those opportunities and you can go from there. So I've pretty much covered all of that. And essentially what those freelancers do is it gives you unlimited bench strength for your marketing side of things. So if you don't know how to do something but you have a vision, you talk to a freelancer, they can do it. And when we're working with people in Indonesia and the Philippines and whatnot, they're working for pennies on the dollar. Any questions on Fiverr or freelancers? Anybody think that that's relevant? Is anybody using freelancers right now with your business? No one? Highly recommend it. If you please take a look at it because I think it will help, and you can basically pass that off to somebody else without having to do it yourself and not having to invest the time and the money that is so precious to small business owners. Second is software. The other side of it that's helped us immensely is a lot of times graphic design has been historically incredibly expensive, and to be honest, it's very, very difficult to use. The Adobe Suite has a powerhouse of things that you can use, and it can create virtually anything, but you almost have to have a degree in Adobe to figure out how to use it, or you gotta watch 10 hours worth of a YouTube video just to figure out how to resize an object and it doesn't get all wonky with the aspect ratio. We use a program called Canva. It's basically designed for small businesses. It costs us anywhere between $5 for one user or I think $15 for a team of 5, and it makes graphic design work easy. Social media posts, all of our rack cards and our trifolds are all designed in Canva. And it's drag and drop. And so once you have your brand guide, you can start using Canva, start creating stuff, or you can then push it out to freelancers. And there's a bunch of other things that you can use. AppSumo, you guys probably haven't heard of it. That is a website, it's an online platform that sells software to small businesses. But rather than the subscription model where you have to pay on a monthly basis, you go on to AppSumo and you can buy lifetime access to a software for $5, $50, $60. And so that's been huge for, you can get CRMs, you can get email blast software, you can get accounting software. Highly recommend looking into that because there's a lot of automations too that are built in with those softwares that'll help take care of the marketing side of things that either you don't know or don't have any interest in, but you spend a little bit of time on the front end and it gets built out for you. Stock websites. Canva has its own library of stock footage and stock images and graphics and whatnot, but there's also stock websites out there where you can buy images. So for example, if you own a gym, there's pictures that you can pull of people working out. So you don't have to hire a photographer to go out and take those pictures. I think you should at some point because nothing's gonna be good as something that gets done either by you or by somebody directly that you're working with here in town, like Atlas Photo and Video, for example, shameless plug. But they have those to help bridge the gap to the point where you're starting to generate more revenue, you can get into it. And the cost of those sites is also pennies on the dollar of what it would typically cost. For the really small businesses, I would recommend looking at what's called a voice over IP phone system, or VoIP. What does that do? Rather than having your personal cell phone be the business phone, you can now get a dedicated phone number for your business. You can set up times where people can call you or when they can't call you. And then not only that, it looks more legitimate. I mean, how many people have you seen that have their business and you got your cell phone on your business card and that's your main business line. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but for $11 a month, if you can have a dedicated phone line, and then you hire somebody from Fiverr to do your voice recording, so it says, hello, thank you for calling Hydros, please make a selection from our calling tree. Now all of a sudden you've got something that has historically cost thousands of dollars, it costs $11 a month. And it also helps with some of your balance, and so your people aren't calling you and texting your cell phone at all hours in the night. Microsites is another big one. That's kind of a big thing for, at least if you have noticed in some LinkedIn profiles and a lot of times on social media, people have a link where you can click it, and all of a sudden it's basically a mini landing page that shows up on your phone. It's optimized for your phone, and it's a way for you to give people direct access to links that are the most relevant. So rather than having to go to your website and search through all the information, if you've got a lot of frequently asked questions or you have something that is more pertinent to your customers, use a microsite, because then it's easier for them, which falls back into the consumability piece, it's easier for them to get to the most relevant information fast. That makes sense. And then there's also ways of doing email blasts. MailChimp, for example, it's free, up to 500 contacts. So if you have less than 500 customers, you can now send out a newsletter or email blast your customers without having to go through Microsoft Outlook and create those groups, and it's free. And it also helps you build beautiful emails so that it's not just a standard email with a bunch of text. It looks very similar to the annoying marketing emails that you get on a regular basis, but now you can do it for your business and you can make it more relevant to either your existing customers or your prospective customers, especially if they've enrolled in the newsletter on your website if you have one. That makes sense? Any questions so far? Anybody need coffee because I'm being too boring? We have some. So another quick shameless plug, speaking about microsites. The Gaines Chamber now has a microsite. So if you could get out your phone, scan this QR code, which is actually created in Canva, now it'll pull up the new Gaines microsite, and it has some links that show directly to certain pages on our website. And so this is something that you can use for your business to help with your customers, getting them to the right information fast. Anybody having issues with that, scanning it? Nope, all good? So if you see it, it now has a list of different links that talks about, one of the things that we wanted to make sure that we talked about was our new membership resource center. If you go to either the microsite, which is gaineschamberlinks.org, or scan the QR code that's on your table with the leaflet, or this QR code, there's a list of videos and PDFs that you can take a look at that'll help you maximize your membership within the chamber. And so there's videos on how to do a job posting if you're looking to hire somebody, or if you want to pay your bill online, or if you want to update your company or personal profile on the Gaines Chamber. That's free to you as members, and it's an easy way for you to get into it, and I think a lot of people haven't taken advantage of it because it wasn't easy. And this all came about because I asked Barb, I said, how do I update our company profile? Because it wasn't the way that we thought it should be. And so please use that resource center to help better your membership here in the chamber and to help get your name out better on the Gaines Chamber website. Questions? Nope? Perfect. So, I hit you guys with a lot, and I had to kind of fly through it because we were running a little bit behind. But based on the softwares and the strategies that I went over, if you ever wanted to undergo a rebranding of your business, make things a little bit more cohesive, change some things, or even just use part of the microsite, I put together a rebranding roadmap, and I'm happy to send this to you. I'll also make this portion of the slideshow available to anybody so that you don't have to take notes, and as well as I'm available after talking. If you guys have any questions, come up and talk to me. I will do whatever I can to help you and point you in the right direction. But anything from going into Google and getting a personalized email address. So rather than at Gmail, yourbusiness@gmail.com, your name at yourbusiness.com. That's a huge way of making yourself look bigger than you are, or making your business look more legitimate, and it costs $6 a month. I know $6, $12, it all adds up, but at the end of the day, it's a very, very small spend to really help your business make it look bigger than you are. I can't tell you, part of one of the reasons why we got so involved with this is when we first got started, we didn't have a website. We had a coming soon page, but we didn't have a website. And I had 2 customers, and it stuck with me, that said, well, we don't see your website, we don't know who you are, we can't trust you. And so from that moment on, we got very intentional about making sure that our website was live, it was up to date, it was beautiful, and it was easy to consume. And then we also went through and we set up a Google business listing. More people check Google reviews than you realize. And it takes no time to ask your customers that you've done a really good job of, say, hey, do you mind leaving us a 5-star Google review? A little bit of a secret that we use is we'll send out an email, or the sales rep or myself will contact the customer directly. Hey, if we deserve and earn a 5-star Google review, if you could use this link, copy the link, email it to them, please fill out the Google review and give us a 5-star review. If we didn't, give us the brutally honest feedback that we need to be able to grow, because we can't grow without it. And you'll be surprised at what people will tell you, what they're upset with, what some of the nuanced things that you did or didn't do that they wish you would have or didn't do. So there's plenty of things that small businesses can do with little to no money to make yourself look bigger than you are, and eventually it will help bring more customers in, close your business, and ultimately the hope is that we reduce that number of small business failure rates. No one wants to see somebody put their life savings and their heart and soul into a business just to see it fail. It's a really, really sad day when that happens. And for the businesses that have been successful so far, kudos to you, because you guys have done a great job. But I think all of us have seen or know somebody here who has started a small business and it failed, and it devastates a family. I've seen marriages fail because of it. And if we can help with that using some of these tactics and tools, it's worthwhile. And so if I can help you guys do this with your business, and if you can help pass that forward to other small business owners that you know, we will have made a meaningful and positive impact in the small business community. Is that a deal? Perfect. Oh boy. Oh boy. And with that, I'm out. I'm out of time. I appreciate you guys listening. Thank you for those who didn't nod off for paying attention. If I can help you guys at all, I promise I won't talk to you about water. But if I can do anything to help you in your small business, whether it's with one of the small things that I mentioned or helping with an entire rebranding, I'm happy to help. I want to be able to give back. So would love to talk to you guys, and thank you so much for listening today. Thank you for your time, and thank you for those who are members for being part of the chamber. Thank you.
Another round of applause. That was amazing. And he put together our site map for the chamber. So, I mean, just a guru on everything that he does. So we appreciate you so much, Scott. Thank you so much. We want to make sure, again, to thank all of our amazing sponsors, Hydros, Atlas Photo and Video, Chris Fazenfeld, our caterer. Thank you to Kentwood Community Church, and if you'd like a tour, please let Alan know. Just make sure to register. Our events are out there on our website. Please go to the website today, sign up, and again, remember, working together, we will positively impact your community. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of you.